My name's Cole and this is my vlog. It's about things that tick me off, some things I like, but mostly things that tick me off. The world today is so messed up, I shunned it. That's right, shunned. Today's episode is called To Poop or Not to Poop.
Harvey, Cole has another episode on YouTube's.
What's he ranting about this time, Edith?
Something about pooping. That's just nasty.
Maybe he's got tips on stool softeners.
Before I can share this very personal story with you, I need to educate you about an unspoken code men have for using the public restroom. Rule number 1. When using a urinal, always leave an empty urinal space between you and the next guy. This is for privacy and splash protection. However, if there's no extra empty urinals available, it's okay to break this rule. Rule number 2, eyes forward. You don't have any business looking anywhere except straight ahead. Nobody wants to pee with a looky-loo next to you. Rule number 3, no talking, period. No matter how much you want to talk, you don't chat with other people while they're going number 1 or number 2. This isn't the ladies' room.
What? Men don't talk in the restroom? Well, what do you do then?
If you have a shy bladder or a fear of public restrooms, I suggest you turn this video off right now. Because the story I'm about to tell you will give you nightmares for the rest of your life. When I was in the Army during the Persian Gulf War, I was assigned to the worst detail possible. Detail. Of course, I tried to dodge this assignment and was pretty successful. But, like the Grim Reaper, it eventually catches up. You see, we didn't have porta potties. We had 4-seater outhouses. Inside these plywood boxes was a plank with 4 holes drilled out for toilet seats. And underneath were sawed-off oil drums to collect the prizes. They weren't really prizes. The collection drums were used to collect poop, pee, and used female sanitary napkins. Yeah, it was delightful. All day long, this fecal stew brewed under the hot Saudi Arabian desert sun, just percolating. The horrible smell was enough to make you puke.
That's horrible. Those poor soldiers.
Detail consisted of dragging out the full drums of feces and urine, some of which were filled to the brim, so you had to be careful not to slosh them and douse yourself. Lucky for me, that never happened, because if it did, I would have used the company flamethrower to burn off my clothes and all of my skin. Anyways, we then loaded the drums onto a Hummer and transported them to a pit. From there, we would empty the drums and pour mogas and diesel over them. Use a long rod or staff to stir it, mixing it real well, mixing the brown sludge real well. And then we would light it on fire. Whoosh! 4th of July in shit town. If you made it through the video this far, I'm proud of you. But I gotta warn you, it's only gonna get worse. Because of the lack of privacy, I generally avoided using these outhouses. But after the shit detail experience, there was absolutely no way I was gonna use them. Well, wouldn't you know, the day came when I didn't have a choice. I decided to hold it and wait until dark so I could take a dump in the outhouse alone.
I like where this is going. Go, Cole!
Really, Harvey?
Under cover of darkness, I snuck into the outhouse and closed the door behind me. The stench hit me like a wave and filled my nose and mouth. I tried to stay cool and not vomit, but I could feel it in the pit of my stomach. I looked at the 4 empty toilet holes and wondered which one should I pick. I walked past the first 3 holes and picked the last hole. Dozens of flies buzzed around the outhouse. I dropped my trousers, centered myself, and sat on the wood. You can do this, I told myself. You can do this. Flies buzzed around my head. I tried to swat at them, but it was no use. Some of them would land on my face and crawl around. I tried not to think about where they had been before. So I kept shooing them away.
This is gross. I'm turning this off.
No, you don't! I gotta find out if he drops that Deuce.
I tried to relax and block everything out. You can do it. You can do it, I told myself. Just then I heard the outhouse door creak and slam shut. Bam! I looked over to see Big Schmitty standing in the doorway, 6'6". He was a giant of a man. He wasn't skinny either. Big Schmitty was stocky and built like a Mack truck. Hunched over, he tried to avoid hitting his head on the ceiling. Big Schmitty slowly walked to find his spot. Well, at least I'm on the 4th seat. The last one. He won't be near me, I thought. Fearfully, I watched Big Schmitty walk past the first hole. I tried to console myself. It's all right, Cole. Who wants to sit next to the door? He'll pick the next seat. Schmitty paused in front of the 2nd seat. He peered inside the hole and looked at the fecal material in the barrel. Sit! All these seats are horrible. Just sit, I thought. And then he started moving to the 3rd seat. The seat next to mine. What about the unspoken code? I screamed inside my head. Leave an empty space between you and someone else. Surely that applies here. Big Schmitty dropped his drawers and lowered his butt to the wood. It was then that I felt it. Big Schmitty was so big, his butt was overflowing his toilet seat area. I could feel his butt cheek pressed against mine. Hold on, just give me a second.
Oh my word! That's not right. I remember when we didn't have indoor plumbing, so we...
Shh!
Did you just shush me?
Yeah! You don't think I've heard your outhouse story? We've been married 50 years. I've heard all your stories.
I tried to focus, but Big Schmitty was practically on top of me. I remembered rule number 2. Eyes forward. Don't look, just block everything out. I started making progress, but then my mind darted back to the giant man's butt pressed against mine, the flies and the stench. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, Big Schmitty spoke. How was roving patrols, Cole? We were sitting so close together, I could feel his breath on my face. That's it! I jumped off like a rocket, grabbed my drawers with one hand, and ran out. I vowed never again. The next day we went on patrol. When the Hummer stopped, I got out. At this point, I didn't care who saw me. I was on a quest for bowel relief. With toilet paper in one hand, I dug a small hole, dropped my drawers, and squatted. In Saudi Arabia, the sand is so flat you can see for miles. As I went, I watched some tanks rolling along in the distance. It was then that I had relief. This was much better than the outhouse. That's when my firing team thought it'd be funny to drive away with my Hummer. Wouldn't have been any big deal, but it turns out we were sitting next to this main supply route, MSR Dodge, and morning rush hour traffic was starting up. Army truck after army truck, bumper to bumper, sped along on this 8-lane makeshift highway. And there I was, taking a big old dump. Trucks and Hummers honked and blew their horns as they passed me. I didn't care. I just smiled and waved. Anything was better than that outhouse. That was the best and the worst Dookey experience ever.
Wow! Can this guy tell a story? Who knew taking a dumperooski could be so suspenseful?
I'll never understand you men and your toilet humor.
I imagine most of the people with shy bladders and fear of public restrooms didn't make it this far. If you did, I'm proud of you. So the next time you're relieving yourself and you don't have toilet paper, remember my story. Things could be worse. In conclusion, I shun outhouses, people who don't follow the bathroom code, and Big Schmitty. I shun them. You been shunned. If you want my opinion on a particular subject, leave your comment down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I don't care.